What's up guys, today I'll teach you how to heal in dungeons as a disc priest. But before I just show you what I do as a disc priest, it's very important to know how a disc priest healing works. So first off, it's pretty important to know that you have this passive called Atonement. Now Power Word Shield, Shadowfiend and Power Word Radiance apply Atonement to target for 15 seconds. So you can see right here, I use the shield on me and I get an Atonement. All the damage heals the targets affected by Atonement for 60% by the damage done. Now, this is like the main key of a disc priest healing in a dungeon. And let me just show you why. So, as you can see right here, always before we go into a fight or if we're in a fight, I will always keep Atonement on my tank. And I've actually done some macros, so this makes it possible for me to always target my tank and just be dealing a ton of damage and healing my tank through the Atonement. So as you can see, my tank, whenever we're in a fight, I always keep the Atonement on him. I always do this with shield real quick, and then I just damage and damage. And you can see I'm damaging quite a lot, and I'm just healing him constantly. And it's not even harder than that. You just keep the Atonement up on the guy who's low, either your tank, and then I have combined these macros that makes it so much easier for all of you disc priests who want to learn how to be dealing a lot of damage and healing at the same time. As I said, it's super easy this. Now, I have mine over here, and I actually also use this for arena and PvP, but in dungeon it makes it so much easier. Slash cast target equals target purge of the wicked. Then I will just purge of the wicked on my target's target. Also I will Penance on my target's target. I will Smite, and I will also use the power word Solace on my target, and I also have one for my Shadowfiend. So it just makes it super easy. Okay guys, you're targeting your tank and you're just pressing these macros as I've showed you in the video, and you're dealing a ton of damage and healing, and you don't even have to be targeting the enemy and then back to your guy you want to heal or anything like that. You just always have your target on your tank, and then you just deal out damage to the enemy through your tank. So as you can see, whenever many on my team are going low, I usually just use the power word Radiance. So I put the Atonement on everybody on the team, as you can see right here, and then I damage and damage and damage, and that's usually enough to top back off the team and make sure that we don't die. And it's super easy, but then again, I always keep the target on my tank, because he's like, we don't want him to die. If I get in trouble, I can always spam Shadowfiend into him or anything like that. But when we're just in fights, especially in boss fights, I just keep my target on him, so I can always spam heal him if we get into trouble, but then I can always damage. Again, right here you can see we're on a boss fight, and I just try to keep the Atonement on my tank as much as possible, and I'm dealing damage, and we're not having any trouble on this boss. I'm dealing damage and healing my target, who's my tank. And sometimes I might even throw in a power word Radiance, just cause maybe I wanna heal the rest of my team. I want to prevent some AoE coming from the boss or something like that, but it's very simple, as you can see right here. Now this is the spec that I'm running with. I'm not sure if it's the best. This is kind of like my own take on it. I usually don't do a lot of PvE, I'm more of a PvP player, but I have to grind out some gear, so this is my spec. Sometimes I actually go for Schism, and I can show you right here. On some boss fights, I do almost as much damage as the rest of the DPS team, because the Schism will increase my damage deal on that target by 40%. And this is also very helpful, because the more damage you deal, the more you are healing. So if you put the Atonement on all of your teammates, and you do that by pressing power word Radiance, you apply it to 4 injured allies. So basically everybody around you get the Atonement, and then you can press the enemy boss, use the Schism, and then just spam Smite into him, and you're actually doing a lot of damage, and you're healing for so much, and it's pretty powerful. But when I'm not feeling that, when I just want to kind of relax, I go with the Twist of Fate, because if my tank is going low and I have to spam heal him real quick, I get the 20% increased, and of course I deal the 20% more damage if he goes low. So that's also some increased healing right there. Now here, Angelic Feather just makes it easier for you. If some AoE are on top of you, you can easier move away from it. You can run through the dungeon faster, or if you have to run a bit far to get to the next boss or something, you're getting there a bit faster. Now, Power Word Solace, I picked this one because you actually deal quite a lot of damage and it's an instant. So whenever I apply Atonement and if my guy is going low, I spam Smite, 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 and then I will do Power Word Solace every time. I use this off cooldown all the time because it's a lot of damage and a lot of healing, and you restore mana, so I never go out of mana in this build actually. Now here I go for the Fear, just because again I don't find any of these any good actually. Maybe this because of the knockback, but I just use the Fear for maybe if we need to kick somebody and my team is not ready to kick him, I'll just use my Feather, run over, and I'll Fear. And that way we might get out of some trouble. Now here I always go for Sins of the Many, just because it's a nice little damage increase. The more damage you deal, the more you're healing, and especially if I only apply Atonement on my tank, I still get a very nice buff, and then I deal a nice amount of extra damage. Now this Contrition, I don't really use Peasants defensively, only if my tank or somebody else are very low and need healing very fast. So I don't use it that defensively that often. I pretty much only use it offensively as damage, in especially in dungeons. You can always go for this one, Shadow Covenant, but then again I just find the Sins of the Many more my style, and I like the damage increase way too much to give it up. Now the reason why I go for Purge of the Wicked, it's because it's just so much healing and a great increased damage. Now let's say this guy is my tank, I Purge of the Wicked his target, and then right after I Peasant this target. Then I think these guys are too far away, but I'll show you a clip right here. You can see whenever you Peasants a target who has the Purge of the Wicked, the Purge of the Wicked spreads. So this is crazy good. If you can actually get so many Purge of the Wicked running on so many ads and so many mobs, and then your healing is just insane. And if you keep your Atonement mob on your team, these constant healings, it's like 700, because as you can see, dealing 100 and 500 fire damage, half of that's around 750 I guess. So it's constantly healing 750 to everybody on your team. It's so much healing, and it's very, very powerful, and it's definitely the best thing right here. I mean, hands down, you have to play with this. This is the best one. Divine Star, not really any good. You have to aim and stuff like that. And Halo is just a big circle around you. You can risk pulling a lot of mobs. Here, you're not taking any chances. You're just putting a dot, and it's kind of like Renew, and it's for 20 seconds. It's just, you have to pick this one. You just targeting your tank, you just Purge of the Wicked his target. Alright, and if you're playing with the tank who switch around on a lot of targets, maybe he's going this guy right now, then he'll go here. You can see down here Purge of the Wicked is applied. Maybe if he's switching to somebody else who do not have Purge of the Wicked, you just use it again. He's switching to somebody else, you use it again. And then of course you use Peasants of on cooldown, because you applied even more. So Purge of the Wicked is like one of our main damage healing abilities, so please pick this one, it's very great. Now, and here in the end, this is definitely not your best choice. I'm just kind of lazy. This is definitely your best choice in my opinion, because even though it's a 3-minute cooldown, if your team is running low and you need to do some instant healing very fast, you just press this, and it's a great shield you apply on your entire team. So definitely this is the best choice, but I'm just too lazy, and I often just play with this one, the 3% damage reduce when Atonement is applied. But of course I should be playing more around with this one, just because it's very strong and very good. And I don't find this any good at all. You can basically just apply Atonement all the time. It's super easy, so you don't even need it for 6 more seconds. Like, that's kind of a waste, and it's even evangelism, you have to press a cooldown just to get it for 6 more seconds. It's a total waste in my opinion. So this is definitely the best choice, but I'm just too lazy, so I often just go for this one. But I might start playing around with this one a bit more if I find myself or my team dying or going low a lot, because this one it's great. And the power word barrier, you know, it takes out its place. The power word barrier, you don't really have the time to put down this barrier, because often your tank, he's running around, he's trying to avoid AoE or some stuff like that. So it's very rare that the entire team just are able to stand still in this barrier. So definitely go for this one. But yeah, don't even go for this one. It's just me who's lazy. I would say you should go for this one. I want to start play around with this one even more. Now guys, the rotation, as I said, keep a totem up, dot the target up. You can see right here, if I'm dotting even more, he's actually just being healed for 600, 600, 600, and when it crit, he heals for quite a lot. But keep a totem up, dot the target, peasants the target. Maybe you want to throw in this all the time, and you smite, smite, smite. You can see you're actually healing for quite a lot. Peasants again, keep the atonement up, use this on cooldown, and smite again. Very easy, very simple. Don't forget to buff your team, guys. But guys, this is basically it. Very easy, very simple, and dealing a lot of damage. I just want to put in some few clips right here so you can actually see it, and maybe you can get a more of an idea of what I'm actually doing when I'm playing around. But that's it for me, guys. I hope you like this guy. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Peace.